everybody, thanks again for coming to Papa's Trains. Today we're going to go over doing an isolated track section to run some of your accessories such as a crossing gate. Stay tuned. Okay, so Lionel sells a 3-section track that's isolated, which I'll be showing closer views of this a little bit later. But sometimes you need to make your own. So today I'm going to try and show you what I've learned on how to make your own. Here we go. So if you purchase the Fastrack insulated track sections, this is what you get. And one of the things you'll notice is that you have a little bit of a gap in this one, full section, and then another 5-inch section with this gap. That is important because that breaks the ground from here to here, likewise on the other side. One of the other differences you'll notice is on the back side, you will see that there's no piece connecting the ground to the ground, as in this piece, where it has the ground piece connecting ground to ground. So I've got all 3 pieces connected together. I got the hot going to the middle, the ground going to the outside, but I don't have anything hooked up to this side. I'll explain to that in a minute. Okay, so we have power going to the inside rail with our ground connected. Because of the gaps, this center section is not grounded to here until we bring our train across. And if you see, I actually have this very rudely, crudely set up. This is the hot line going to this LED light, and this one's hooked up to the ground after that gap. So as the train comes across, then it lights up and gives it power. So if you have a railroad crossing or a block, any type of accessory that's to be triggered at a certain point when your train comes across, that's the way it's going to work. Hopefully you guys understand that. You would actually be hooking this up on the underside of the track. This would be your hot going in. Because it's flipped, this is actually the ground to the outside. So it's basically, you have your hot line going into your accessory and the ground coming off of this line here. You can also see this. Lionel has a nice video explaining how this works. And one of the problems that I have is Lionel only sells this in a straight. I am planning on putting a crossing guard on this curve. So I'm going to show you how to take your Fastrack and turn it into an isolated track. So when I did that little test here, I had this nice little LED light. I picked these guys up on Amazon. I got 20 of them for 10 bucks. They're really nice. They work on 12 volts, so you don't really need a resistor as long as you're not running too much power through them. And I'm planning on eventually using these to light up some of my different houses, and they're nice. They're a great deal. They work great. As you can see, the light itself, it's LED. It's very small. I'm gonna try and make some backdrops and use these as lighted windows, which I will hopefully be posting something later on how these guys work. But check them out on Amazon. Like I say, I think it was $9.99. I have Prime, so it was free shipping for 20 of them. Great deal. They also come in different sizes too. These are soft white. They have bright lights. You can get them in colored also. So check them out. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is take this piece out right here, because this connects the 2 outer ground pieces. If you have them both connected, then it's going to always have a ground. So we're going to have to pop that one off, and it's pretty simple. I'm going to be bending up these tabs, bending up those tabs, take the piece out, and I'm going to bend them back down. Okay, so it's pretty simple. I'm just going to bend these tabs up. 1 and 2 on each side. A little bit further. And if you need to, you can grab a needle nose and straighten them up. Bend that one up. We're going to bend this one up. We're going to straighten that up a little bit. And next we're going to pop that guy off. And we'll just push these back down. Oops. You want to make sure you bend those tabs down all the way. There we go. So you get a good tight fit. The next thing we're going to be doing is going to be removing the outside edge so it's not making contact. We'll show you how to do that in just a second. Okay, so just like on the Lionel, isolated track that you can buy, there's this small little piece that's the disconnect. Well, I'm going to have to create one, and I'm going to be doing that by removing this tab, and then on the opposite end of the curve, I'm going to be removing this tab. That way it'll put a gap in between the two. One of the little things that I will also do, I don't know, this one's up to you, people do it different ways. I'm going to take a Dremel and just shorten this, let me show you by pointing a little bit better. I'm going to shorten this piece right here just a tiny bit with a Dremel to create that gap in there. Some people will just simply put a little piece of electrical tape in there. There's a number of different ways you can do it, but I like to just open that gap up a little bit. But I'm going to show you now how to take this tab off. Okay, so this is the piece I'm going to remove, and it's pretty simple. We're just going to bend up those tabs right there. Sometimes you might have to bend these up a little bit just to make sure. In some cases, some people will even go as far as removing these also. We're going to see if this works. By doing that, and then we're going to lift up. Yeah, I got a feeling I might have to take that tab off. Let's lift up these nuts too. We'll even do the far side. Alright, so we got those up. We gotta push this through. Come on now. Up you go. Alright. We're gonna stop for a second while I battle with this. Okay, so on a 10-inch piece, this is a lot easier to do because these are spaced out a little bit further, but I had to pry it a little bit, and eventually we were able to pop this out. But as you can see, we brought that up. So now we're going to push it back down in to where it goes, and we're going to bend all of our tabs back in. And bend those in. So now what we've done is we've created this. So when we hook it in, it creates that gap that we need right here. I'm going to actually take my Dremel and just take a little bit off of that. There we go, that should be enough. That's going to help widen that gap a little bit. Okay, so now this is obviously going to be our hot line. This is the isolated section. So we're going to flip this over. This being the isolated section, this being the hot section. I'm going to hook up, where is it? I'm going to hook up to the hot and to the isolated. All right, so we got it hooked up. This is where the brake is in this one. There's my brake in the second track. So while it goes through here, I'm going to have a road coming through this way. So I want the crossing gate to go down. So as my train comes through, and once it goes past, it comes back up. So there it is. It's working. On the underside, we have the ground is going to the outside. The power obviously is going to the inside for this one. So as it comes through, it will make the connection from here to here for the ground. And once it goes past, then it loses that ground connection while still having power to the track. All right, so hopefully you learned something. If I showed you something wrong, make a comment. Let me know if I'm doing something wrong. But this is the way I've learned how to do it. Like I say, as I showed you, if you're going to put a crossing gate on a curve, or you want, say, a gate man on one of your curves, the isolated track with Fastrack that Lionel sells, you can't do that. So you're going to have to make your own. Hopefully you were able to understand how to do that. If you don't, message me with your questions or comments. And of course, always like and please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to teach you guys what I've learned. I do everything as cheaply as possible because I'm on a limited budget with everything that I'm doing. So in the future, I'm going to be trying to show you more little tidbits and things that I've learned, and hopefully you can learn too. So you guys have yourselves a wonderful day, and thank you for tuning in. Choo-choo!